Muchas gracias, muchas gracias. Thank you all so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Our presentation for today, I'm going to be very honest with you. This is an all-day presentation that I am going to try to fit in into an hour, 55 minutes that we're going to be together. But I'm going to be sharing everything that I'm talking about with you all, and also a lot of the content that I use with other districts, other teachers, but most importantly, everything that I did with students, because everything that I'm talking about here is from my heart, es de mi corazón, y de verdad que funciona, okay? So we are going to be talking about amplifying multilingual voices with Flip and AI. So really quick, mis amores, I'm going to ask you to tell me on the chat. We're going to be participating on the chat, por favorcito, right? We need to practice our writing, right? Our writing domain. And I would love for you to practice your speaking domain. At any time you can open your mic and ask any questions in these 55 minutes that we are going to be together. My name is Fely Garcia-Lopez. I'm one of the Educator Innovation Leads at Team Flip at Microsoft. Before working for Microsoft, teacher from here, from La Jolla ISD, from the RGV, ESL, ELA, science teacher for more than 17 years. I also had the honor to work for the bilingual department and also the technology department. And I've been doing a lot of PD sessions, a lot of presentations for educators here in the United States before being part of the Microsoft team. And now I have the honor and the blessing to provide professional development not only here in the United States, pero también en todo lo que es Latinoamérica y España, ¿verdad? La importancia de ser bilingüe, que te puedes conectar pues con todo el mundo. Así que tengo el honor y tengo la bendición de estar trabajando con básicamente todo el mundo. Aquí en los Estados Unidos, mi enfoque es en el multilingüismo, aquí en Texas, en el bilingüismo, ¿verdad? Y la biculturalidad, qué importante es traer todo esto al salón de clase y pues en Latinoamérica y España presentar en este gran, hermoso idioma que es el español. English is also very beautiful, but Spanish como que está más sabroso. So with that in mind, we are going to be combining here, right, different superpowers that we as people from South Texas have, which is being bilingual, but we're also going to be combining that with Flip and artificial intelligence. So my question to you on the chat is as follows. How familiar are you with artificial intelligence? See, if you can please let us know in the chat, ¿qué tan familiarizados o familiarizadas estamos con la inteligencia artificial? Please let us know in the chat, por favorcito. I will keep an eye on the chat. And while we answer that first question that we have for today's session, I'm going to continue with the slideshow that I have on the screen. So once again, how familiar are you with AI? And while you answer my question, I just want you to activate right here. You're going to be listening to me and writing at the same time. Two superpowers, my friends. So learning objectives for today, we're going to identify features to create a topic that fosters language development. We will explore the power of AI in Bing Chat and experience its responsiveness as an instructional tool. We will design a topic that promotes multilingualism while harnessing the power of artificial intelligence. And finally, right, hopefully we have time, right, for the four of them. We will review the different options in Flip that support language acquisition. Once again, I will be sharing all the content with Valentin, and then our district, our beautiful district, will share all of this info with you all through the website. So let me look at the chat. I have tried to be very familiar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. It's everyone. We start right? There's a starting point. It's so important. There's always room for improvement for all of us. I love it. Familiar, still learning. Me encanta, Raquel. Muchas gracias. Not very familiar with it. Woo, wait until you see it in action. Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for your answers. Voy a estar al pendiente del chat. Por favor, hay que seguir participando si son tan amables. And super quick, our mission at Flip, right? Our mission at Flip is to make learning fun and empowering for every single one of our students. If you're not familiar with Flip, let me tell you super quick that Flip is social learning. It is a simple, free video discussion app to make learning fun, fulfilling, and empowering. And in 3 easy steps, as you see right here on the screen, we have a Flip account. Once we have a Flip account, we create a group. That's the group that we are going to be sharing with our students so that they can be part of the group. Once they enter our group, they are going to find topics. These topics are going to be the questions that we are going to be asking our students so that we can start the conversation, right? That we can initiate that or activate that speaking domain with our students. Super, super, super fun. And with the Flip camera, the magic happens when our babies, our students, click on that topic and they start creating these videos using the Flip camera, right? And this is where creativity meets the equation, right? Meets everything that we are using and creating for our students. Post a topic. This is when we as teachers, right, bring our creativity as educators, right, to create these amazing learning opportunities for our students. And then the magic happens when our students get creative, right? We're using all of the creativity tools with our camera to answer the question or the questions that we are asking. And in return, they will be practicing all the language domains. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let me look at the chat. Not familiar, somewhat familiar, not familiar. We, instructional technology can support contact years. Perfect. Okay. Oh, thank you, Valentin. That was an answer to a question. Okay. Okay. Awesome. 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 So step 1, create a group. Step 2, create a topic. And then step 3, the magic happens, right? Just a summary of what Flip is. Now let's rapidito, mis amigos, mis amigas, we are going to activate background knowledge. Language acquisition. Let's go back to our writing domain. My question to you is on the chat, por favor, let me know. When you see these 2 words on the screen, language acquisition, what is the first mental picture that you have in your mind? Cuando ven estas 2 palabritas en la pantalla, ¿cuál es esa primera imagen mental que viene a sus cerebritos, a su mente? Please let me know, let us know on the chat. You see language acquisition, I think of acquiring, awesome. I see language acquisition, I think of learning, perfect, awesome. Students speaking, amazing, thank you. I see language acquisition, I think of students speaking, amazing. Thank you for participating in the chat. Attain new language or content vocabulary, right? Content vocabulary, super important. Vocabulary building, thank you so much. Keep those answers coming. Hay que seguir participando, por favor. Develop skills from a language, dominating a new language, right? Being experts at it, amazing, amazing. So with that in mind, my friends, let's keep writing on the chat. Language acquisition is also, or talks about also, it includes, right, the famous language domains, right? Those language skills that we need to practice, right, in order for us to acquire the language, ¿verdad? Estos dominios del idioma, del lenguaje que existen en todos los idiomas, no solamente en el idioma inglés, ¿verdad? Que es el listening, reading, being our receptive domains, right? Recibimos la información, it's your input, and the speaking and writing domains, which is your productive domains, right? Your students or we, right? When we are language acquisition, you're acquiring a language, you're producing something, is your output, right? So listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Those are the language domains. There's one more, right, that we usually don't include right here, but I'm going to bring it into the conversation in a couple of minutes. So let me go back to the chat really quick. We have vocabulary, we have gaining language, adding more knowledge. I love it. Learning new language, comprehending the language, the comprehension, right? Amazing, amazing. So thank you so very much for participating in the chat. Now, the activities that I'm going to show you right here, they work beautifully in a bilingual classroom or in a multilingual classroom, right? Or in an ESL classroom or ELL L, right, classroom. But I'm also going to share with you that these activities work for any population of kids that you service. Why? Because English, Spanish, or whatever language you use, you teach, or your students speak, or your students are acquiring, the languages are always evolving all the time, all the time. English is always evolving, right? With everything that is coming to technology, we've been adding more vocabulary words into our English language, right? Because it is part of gaining that language, right? Adding more knowledge into our bank, right? Y que nosotros como bilingües, ¿verdad? Tenemos la ventaja de que tenemos dos bancos en nuestras cabecitas. But the activity, or the strategies that I am going to suggest for this presentation work in any classroom, work with any population of kids, right? But you know, my heart and my everything is in bilingual education. Saben, mi amor, mi corazón, mi pasión es en la educación bilingüe, y por esta razón les muestro todo lo que hice con mis estudiantes y con las escuelas con las que tuve el honor de trabajar en La Joya, ¿verdad? De cómo trajimos esta estrategia que diseñé, y cómo nuestras calificaciones, ¿verdad? O nuestro data, de no solamente del TELPAS, sino también del START Test, pues se incrementó de una manera maravillosa. Así que lo que les muestro, it works, right? It's not something that I just came up with. It's something that I used with my students. Lo único diferente va a ser la inteligencia artificial, ¿verdad? Porque eso es algo que es, pues, nuevo. Pero entonces les voy a mostrar cómo esta inteligencia artificial va a complementarnos como educadores, como docentes. I'm going to show you how this artificial intelligence is going to complement us as educators, as teachers, right? So, number one, we will identify features to create a topic that fosters language development. So once again, we're going to go back to the chat, my friends, and we are going to practice. We're practicing our listening skills, right? But we're also going to be practicing our writing skills. I want you to look at the screen, por favor, and I want you to tell me what you see. What do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? What do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? Right here, let me give you let me activate background knowledge, right? A little bit background information right here. This is a topic that I created for my students. This is a flip topic that I created for my students so that they could see or listen, do all of this, so that we could practice something in the classroom. Okay, I'm not going to give you the complete answers, but I would love to know, what do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? Okay, we have 30 seconds. That's 30 seconds, right? Because once again, we're limited in time. So 30 seconds. I'm looking at the chat. 30 seconds. Where you join into the Nearpod lesson on your quiz, okay? So even though we're watching the video together as a group, be prepared to answer these questions when they pop up in the video. They will go live with the Nearpod lesson. Here we go. We have 5 more seconds, please. Okay. And in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, I see your answers. Thank you for sharing your answers. Okay, here we go, here we go. So this is what I see on the chat. I see conversation with support. I wonder if he's entertaining an audience. I love it. Communication being fun, communicating, a fun activity. I love that. Different ways of communicating, interactive activity. I see, ha, ha, ha. Will be fun communicating, engaged through an exciting lesson, having fun, using an icebreaker. Yes, interactive, making a connection between the student laughing and then telling about his or her experience and activity. I love, 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 love all of your answers. Thank you so much for participating. Now, let me tell you what this topic, how or the origin, right? How this topic happened. So you see right here that I'm asking my students, I give it a title, right? Laugh. And then I'm asking my students to think about the last time they laughed a lot. Now, this topic happened in a science classroom, right? Because remember, every teacher, every person in your campus and in your district is a language teacher. Remember, I'm going to say that again. Every person, every teacher, everyone in your campus, in your district is a language teacher. We are together in this. This is not only the responsibility of the ELA or the ESL teacher. All of us as teachers are language acquisition teachers. So this topic right here happened in a science classroom. So I am asking my students to think about the last time they laughed a lot, right? Past tense. Ooh, past tense is one of the most difficult tenses to acquire, right? When you are learning English or when English is your second language. So I want my students to record themselves for 90 seconds. 90 seconds. If you can tell me on the chat, right? Activate background knowledge, right? Telpas. Why 90 seconds? Why am I asking my students to record themselves for 90 seconds? So in this recording, I want my students to tell me who they were with, what made them laugh, and how it made them feel to laugh so hard, right? So that's the prompt that I'm asking my students. Pero I am a science teacher. I know my TEKS. I know what's going to be tested on the START test. So I know that in seventh grade, these, right, the reasons why we laugh are going to be tested. It's part of the TEKS that I have to teach in seventh grade science. And it is also going to be part of the test that our students in middle school take on the START test, right? So what am I doing here? Como decimos en México, voy a tumbar dos pájaros de una pedrada, ¿verdad? Two for the price of one. Why? Because I'm still targeting my TEKS. I'm not letting go of my instruction, of my science instruction, but I'm providing opportunities for my students to practice the language acquisition with my science content. So with the question that I ask, I added a YouTube video that is explaining the scientific reasons why we laugh. So what are my students practicing? The listening skills. I'm also adding a reading passage for my students. And this reading passage, they are going to learn, right? Also, they're going to have more background knowledge on the reasons why we giggle, right? What gives you the giggles? And it is going to be science, a science reading passage or a science article. What am I doing here? I'm bringing the content into the topic. I'm practicing, my students are practicing the language domains, right? The ELPS, but at the same time, I'm not letting go of what I do in the classroom and the many student expectations I have to teach for that week. So remember, two for the price of one. Now, I'm asking my students, every topic that I create in Flip for my students, they have this. Do not forget to write your response before you begin recording. Why is that? Texas, the in Telpas, the domain, the language domain that we are at the lowest is speaking. And it's going to continue to be speaking domain if we don't practice in the classroom with our students. So if our students start practicing all of this, the speaking, the recording in the classroom, by the time they take Telpas, this is going to be, like they say, papitas. It's going to be easy. It's going to be super easy because I already practice in my classes with the different content areas that I go to, with the different elective teachers that I go to. So when it's Telpa season and I Feli, the student, when I have to record myself on TELPAS, I don't freak out and I'm like, oh, what's going on with the test? Why do they want me to be in a room with other kids and I'm gonna be speaking? Qué vergüenza, qué agüite, right? That's that's the main feedback that I always get from our students. So I'm doing this in the classroom so that we can practice, practice, practice. I'm also adding, right, the linguistic support. I'm scaffolding for my students. I'm providing them with a word bank. Why is that? Because I know that my students are going to tell me a story. I'm asking them to think about the last time they laughed a lot. So I'm providing them with these words, this linguistic support, so that they can use when they're writing the response, so that when they click on record and they speak using advanced high vocabulary. We need to move our students. The majority of our students in the state of Texas, based on the TELPAS data, the recent data, the majority of our students in TELPAS are in the intermediate level. Our English learners are in the intermediate level. We have of course, students as beginners, right? And we have advanced and advanced high. But the majority of our population of English language learners in the state of Texas, they are concentrated in the intermediate level. So remember, we have beginner, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high. And we need to move them at least one level per year, right? So that TA can give us that, you know what I'm talking about, right? So remember, TELPAS is part of it. It's not going to go away, just like the START test for my EL students. So I'm providing my students with the tools so that they can be successful. So here is where they are going to practice the speaking domain, because remember that Flip is a video discussion application. So far, so good. I already gave you the info about this topic right here. My next question for you on the chat is as follows. How long do you think it took me to create this topic? The question, finding the YouTube video, finding the reading passage, adding the linguistic support. So planning, let's think planning. How long do you think it took me? Por favor, if you can let me know on the chat, por favorcito. What do you think? An hour, 2 hours? Okay. No more than 5 minutes. You're an expert. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I had to look for the YouTube video, right? I created this topic a while ago. I'm an expert in using the app, right? But think about resources, right? Think about resources. So una hora, 20 minutos, 30 minutos, una hora, excelente, 45 minutos, una hora, creating the lesson 1.5 hours, okay. Excelente, excelente. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So keep lesson planning time. Keep it in mind, por favorcito, because I'm going to bring it back into the conversation. Thank you so much for participating. So, vamos a ver el chat, ¿verdad? Y la mayoría de nosotros estamos contestando una hora, ¿verdad? Vamos a tomar una hora como la palabra que más, perdón, como la respuesta que más obtuvimos. So let's keep it at that, right? Let's say it took me an hour. Okay, so let's see what we can do with that hour right now. So now I'm going to tell you the question or the topic that you see on the screen. I got it directly from the TELPAS release test. Okay, so I design my lessons using the backwards design. I'm obsessed with it. In the backwards design, you start with the end in mind, which is para mí, the end in mind is the state assessment, right? Either the TELPAS test or the STAR test. So I get very familiar with the test and the way the way that the test is asking the questions, and I bring them into my instruction. So I look at the release test. I looked and analyzed the question. Think about the last time you laughed a lot. Basically, I just copy it and pasted it. Aquí está. Miren, think about the last time you laughed a lot, who you were with, what made you laugh, and how it made you feel. Now, because I'm very familiar with the TELPAS test and what happens in our language acquisition classroom, I know that this type of question on the TELPAS test is a question 2, which means the students are going to be asked to record themselves for 90 seconds. 90 seconds, my friends. So what happens here? What happens is that I'm going to ask my kids, record yourself for 90 seconds. And remember, we as teachers can set up the time on the recording part of the flip. Nosotros como maestros decidimos cuánto tiempo se van a grabar los estudiantes. But once again, this is the end in mind. This is how my students are going to be asked on the TELPAS test. If I start doing this in my classroom, by the time they take TELPAS, 90 seconds is going to be super easy. Pero hold on, they have to write it before they speak it. They have to write what they think, what they listened, what they read before they click on this button. So the writing is non-negotiable. It has to happen. And you all know now how the STAR test looks, right? With those constructive responses, right? Constructive response question that now everybody has to write. So writing no es negociable en mi salón de clase. And I constantly remind my students to do this. But I provide the linguistic supports for my students so that that can happen. I'm going to show you right here where I got the question, right? The how I know it's a reporting category 2. So reporting category 2 means in the speaking domain, it means that our students need to record themselves for 90 seconds. That's how I know my data. And I looked at the ELPS, right? Because once again, I'm targeting the ELPS, but I'm also targeting the student expectation, my TEKS. No dejo el TELPAS y no dejo el STAR test, right? It's 2 for the price of 1 in only one topic, in only one flip topic, right? So it took me 1 hour, okay? Going back to our chat, it took me an hour to create this, which can be a lot, teachers, right? 1 hora para un tema de flip, por Dios, ¿verdad? Tengo muchísimas cosas que hacer en el salón de clase. This is another example that I created based from the STAR test, a question from the STAR test, a 7th grade math classroom. Exactly, I'm showing you exactly what I did. I added the student expectation right here so that my students could see it and they could understand, right? Unpacking the standard and use the standard as part of the vocabulary words that I want them to acquire because it's content, right? Content vocabulary that needs to be present all the time. So I copy and paste the question exactly how it was on the start release test. And the only thing that I did is that I removed the answer choices. Why? Because my students are going to be the one giving me the answer using the flip camera, and I'm adding everything for them. Right here, I'm adding my lecture notes, so they're going to be practicing the reading. I'm also adding a YouTube video where they're going to be listening to someone teaching or reteaching, finding the volume of a prism. So it happens in every classroom. I added an extra, which is Math Solver. It's another app that that it's part of our family, and I'm having a session right next to this session about Math Solver and how it can help us in the classroom. So now that we know how to create a topic that is going to include all the language domains in one topic, right? Padrísimo, Feli, se ve maravilloso, está muy padre, vamos a practicar para el TELPAS, pero sigo preocupado, porque 1 hora es demasiado y estoy totalmente de acuerdo con ustedes. Ahora les presento la magia de AI. Vamos a ver cómo AI is going to help us empower our students. The chatbot that we as Microsoft, or that our company Microsoft created, is Bing Chat. If you are familiar or you've heard of artificial intelligence, everybody right now, everybody, and since November, we've been talking about Chat GPT, right? Chat GPT. ChatGPT es también un chatbot, ¿verdad? Con el que podemos tener conversaciones, podemos hacerle una pregunta y nos contesta todo de maravilla. ChatGPT, la inteligencia de ChatGPT tiene un límite. ChatGPT only has information up to 2021, November of 2021. It stops right there. Its bank of information stops right there. So it doesn't know anything about 2022 and 2023. I don't work for ChatGPT. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to use. What I'm saying, my friends, is that we need to be aware of everything that is happening with artificial intelligence and how it is going to transform, right, our education system, our classrooms, right? So that's ChatGPT. And I'm pretty sure you've seen it on social media because everybody's been talking about it, right? So now Microsoft created its own chatbot and it is called Bing, right? This is how Bing looks like. We as teachers we ask a question, right? Which is a prompt. That's how it's called. We generate a prompt, and then Bing Chat, right? This chatbot is going to give us an answer, a very, very complete and correct answer within seconds. So this is how Bing looks like. You can see it right here on the screen. Y ahorita en un minuto lo vamos a ver en acción. So I'm going to ask a question, and then Bing is going to generate an answer for me. But the beauty of Bing, my friends, is that Bing tells me exactly where it got the info. So it cites the information. It is going to tell me from what websites it got the info. So think about digital citizenship right here with our students, how important it is in terms of plagiarism. This is key. It is so important to teach our students about plagiarism and digital citizenship. So Bing is the only chatbot that is telling me exactly where it's getting the information so that I can make sure that the web sources that it's giving me are reliable. So once again, part of digital citizenship. So this is how it is. And now, my friends, I'm going to show you how Flip has its own artificial intelligence. And I'm going to show it to you right now in a group that I have for you all. While I show you my screen, right, while I share this group with you all, do we have any questions up to now? If you can please let me know on the chat. If you have any questions, por favor, let us know. Valentin has also added the link to the feedback form. I believe that's very important. No se les vaya a olvidar, por favor, visitar ese enlace, si son tan amables. But up to now, are there any questions that we have? Not at this time. Amazing. Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So my friends, this is what I am going to do. I am going to share this group that I have created for you all. I'm gonna click right here on share. I'm gonna click on the link. I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna add it to the chat. And I would love for you to click on the link so that you can be part of the class. And this way, you're going to have access to everything that I'm talking about in today's presentation. Okay, I have a question right here. Where do we get Bing? Excellent question. In order for you to use Bing, you need to be using the Microsoft Edge browser. So if you are working from a Chromebook, it's not gonna allow you to use it yet, because Chromebooks, we can only work from Google Chrome, right? And in order for us to have access to Bing, we need to be using Microsoft Edge, which is the browser exclusive. Let me show you. Here it is. This is how it looks like. Microsoft Edge. This is the browser that it's exclusive for Microsoft. So if you are working from a Windows device, it's already there. You don't have to download it. If you're working from a Mac computer, then you go to the App Store and you download Microsoft Edge so that you can have access to Bing Chat. And we're in the process of adding it to Google Chrome, but it's not ready yet. So please, please, please click on the link so that I know that you are part of the class. Por favorcito. Let me see how many students do we have. I'm gonna click, I'm gonna refresh my screen. The link is on the chat. I'm gonna add it again so that you have it available. So, and I'll wait for you to join the class. And while I wait for you, I'm gonna show you the artificial intelligence that we have available as part of our flip class. So let me go over here super quick. And I created the group, right? I had the group ready. I shared it with you, and I have several topics right here so that you can see them. These are the topics that I have created for my students and for other school districts, what I have presented about TELPAS and language acquisition and how we can use Flip to empower our multilingual students. So you can see all of these examples that I have here. They are start oriented, right? They talk about start, but they also talk about telpas. Remember, two for the price of one. I have a math example. I have a science example. I have the activity that I shared with you, the see, think, wonder, that I asked on the chat. I have it here. I have a dance topic. I have a technology example. I have science, ELA, history, and math. So any content area, you see it right here. There's also, I will be adding a PE example as well, so that, oh, here it is. My apologies. What technology do athletes wear? This is for our coaches, right? For our PE coaches. So you have an example for every content area. Spanish, I can add a Spanish one. Por supuesto que sí, tengo bastantes temas en español. Con mucho gusto, I will add it. I'll add it before we go to our next session, right? Okay, so my friends, the group is yours. Just click on the link that I sent on the chat so that you can be part of the group, and so that you can see, you can have access to the topics there. You can duplicate those topics and use those topics with your students, right? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you. If you have any questions, again, please let me know, but I'm gonna move, I'm gonna go ahead and move to our next objective, which is showing you the AI that we have available as part of our Flip a platform, right? Which is right here, Topic Copilot. So with Topic Copilot, my friends, what it does is then when I click here, this ventanita activates. ¿Qué es lo que va a pasar? El copiloto, el tema copiloto, lo que va a hacer es que se va a convertir en mi ayudante en generar ideas de temas para mis estudiantes. Okay, it says it's waiting for your approval. Ooh, let me change that. My apologies. I'm gonna go back. Hold on. I'm gonna edit the group. Okay, update it. And there we go. Just refresh your screens, por favor, and click on the link again. And I have you right here. So let me add you. Add. There we go. You've been added to my class. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. I had the settings to approve my students before I let them enter to the class. So thank you for letting me know. I changed the settings so that anyone who clicks on the link has access to the group, but we as educators have control over that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maria Sandoval. Thank you for letting me know. Then I have 17 students. I know that my students are present. And now I'm going to go back to Topic Copilot. So I'm in my group. I'm in my group right here. I'm going to click on Topic Copilot. And once again, Topic Copilot is going to be helping me create topic ideas. So my next question for you is, what would you like to talk about in this topic? Just help me. Just give me one student expectation or one keyword of the many student expectations or the TEKS that you teach in your classroom, por favor. If you can add an idea or something that you would like to see Topic Copilot helping us with, let me know in the chat, por favor. What would you like to see? Prompts about what? In a science classroom, in a math classroom, in a social studies classroom, ELA, electives, music classroom, Spanish classroom. Let me know, what would you like to see, por favorcito? Si me quieren decir en el chat, o me puedo ir con un ejemplo de los que yo me sé, porque sé que tenemos 12 minutitos más. Conjugación de verbos, ok, vamos a poner en español, vamos a ver qué nos dice. Conjugación de verbos. Okay. Y el grado escolar, ¿qué les parece? Secundaria, está bien. El grado escolar depende de lo que ustedes están trabajando. Ok, high school. Vamos a ver. Introduce new vocabulary words. Thank you, María. Vamos a ver cómo nos va con conjugación de verbos. ¿Les parece bien? Vamos a ver qué también trabaja en español, ¿verdad? Y si no trabaja en español, esto va a ser excelente documentación, ¿verdad? Retroalimentación para el equipo de Flip, la cual puedo llevar para que lo hagan funcionar. Así que vamos a ver, no he tratado de usarlo en español. Vamos a ver qué nos dice. Voy a darle clic aquí en generar ideas y vamos a ver. Me está dando las respuestas en inglés. Pero miren lo que me está diciendo. Name a verb and conjugate it. What's the conjugation of faltar? Que ahí me está dando el verbo en español. What are the conjugations of hablar? How do you conjugate cantar? What is the correct conjugation of dormir? ¿Verdad? Aquí lo ideal, creo que ustedes van a estar de acuerdo conmigo, es que todo el tema fuese en español, ¿verdad? Así que esto es algo que podemos hacer mejor. Y gracias por compartir. Lo voy a llevar para el equipo. Lo voy a cerrar. Voy a regresar para que ustedes me den otro ejemplo, por favor, de algo, un student expectation en el START test o en el End of Year test. Algo en inglés. Ya vemos que esto, el Topic Pilot, lo acabamos de generar hace menos de un mes, pero esto es excelente. En el español como que le falta hablar español. Así que gracias por el ejemplo. ¿Alguno más? ¿Algún otro ejemplo? Sí, gracias. ¿Les parece bien, por cuestiones de tiempo, les parece bien? Oh, main idea, using inferencing to determine main idea. So I'm going to use that example. I'm going to add main idea right here. And what grade level would you like me to select? 8th. Okay, middle school. So let's see. So main idea, middle school. I'm going to click on generate ideas. And these are the suggestions that Topic Copilot is telling me, right? Remember, it's giving me suggestions, right? Me está sugiriendo de qué hablar con mis estudiantes. So it's telling me what is main idea, what details support a main idea. Can you give an example of a main idea? How do you determine the main idea? What helps you recognize the main idea? So here is when I, as the teacher, I'm the expert, right? Artificial intelligence is just helping me, right? It's not doing everything for me. This is when we become a team. Why? Because I know, based on the experience that I have as an ELA teacher, is that on the START test, this is the way they ask the question. What details support the main idea? This is highly tested in 6th grade ELA. So because of that, this is the question that I am going to select. Once again, I'm the expert. There's no artificial intelligence that is going to know your students more than you. We're not going to be replaced by artificial intelligence. So that's the reason why it's so important for us to continue learning about artificial intelligence, but there's no artificial intelligence that will replace us as teachers, because I'm still the one that, one, I know my content, two, I know my kids, and I establish those relationships with my students. So I'm going to click right here on what details support the main idea. I love that, that question. I'm going to click on the plus and look at what happens, por favor. So it added the question as the title, but it also generated 3 questions for my students to start the thinking, right? Those critical thinking skills. What are the 3 questions that this AI is suggesting? In the video, my students have to respond. What would happen if the details conflict with the main idea? Can one detail suggest multiple main ideas? Is every detail important for a main idea? Wow, right? Those are very good questions. And this is a very good conversation that I can have with my students. Now, I have the title, I have the question, but now I'm going to think telpas. We're going to go back to this right here. So what can I do so that that topic includes all the language domains? What am I missing? Because right now I have the title, I have the questions, but what else can I add so that I can scaffold these for my English language learners? What is something that I can add? A video, excelente, vocabulario, excelente. I can add a word bank, ¿verdad? Pero algo que siempre he visto, a graphic organizer, me encanta, me encanta. Algo que también he visto que siempre les pedimos a los estudiantes que hablen, que nos contesten incomplete sentences, right? Make sure you answer the question in complete sentences. Pero a veces los niños no saben que es una oración completa. Entonces, ¿cómo podemos facilitar el proceso para que nuestros estudiantes contesten las preguntas? Pues generando sentence stems. How are we with sentence stems? I'm going to ask my students to use the following the following sentence stems to answer these questions, right? So I'm gonna scaffold this for my babies. I'm gonna make it easier for my babies. Now, where do we get sentence stems or sentence starters? Yes, sentence stems, sentence starters. Where do we usually get them? How do we know them? How do we know these? There we go, Valentin. ChatGPT, baby. In this case, I am going to copy the questions, right? That this topic pilot created for me. I'm gonna copy them, right? And I'm gonna come over here, but instead of using ChatGPT, I'm going to be using Bing, okay? And the reason why, once again, is because I want to see where the information is coming from. So right here on Bing Chat, this is, I come over here as an expert, vengo como experto, conozco a mis estudiantes, conozco mi data. So I'm going to ask Chat Bing to create sentence stems for intermediate English language learners to answer the following questions, right? How do I know they're intermediate? I know my data, right? I already looked at my data and I already know that the majority of my students in that specific class, they're intermediate, right? So I'm being very, very precise on what I'm asking. Now, what are the following questions? What questions am I talking about? Well, the questions that Topic Copilot created for me. So I'm gonna come over here to the questions. I'm gonna copy the questions. I'm going to paste them right here. There they are. And now Chat Bing is going to do the work for me. Enter, and let's see what it says. So there it is. It's already doing the work for me. So it's telling me, hi, this is Bing. I'm happy to help you creating sentence stems for intermediate English language learners. Sentence stems are phrases that can help learners start or complete a sentence. It gave me background information about sentence starters, right, or sentence stems. And then it's giving me sentence stems for the questions that I added. Now, this is where I, as a teacher, my expertise as a teacher comes into place. I come and see the answers, and I am going to select the best ones for my students because, once again, I know my students, okay? So I'm going to look at it. I'm going to analyze it. I'm going to select what's best for my babies. And all I'm going to do now is basically copy paste, right? So I'm just going to pretend that that's the best one because of time, right, teachers? But be careful and read what uh, artificial intelligence is creating for you. So I'm going to copy these three once again because of time, because we're very limited in time. And I'm going to come over here to the topic and I'm going to paste it. So did I scaffold for my kids? Oh, yes. Yes, I did, right? There's a scaffolding for my kids. What's another thing that I can add? Somebody said video, right? Vocabulary video. So what happens if I go to YouTube right now and I look for a video on main idea? How many videos am I gonna get from YouTube? Bastantísimos, ¿verdad? Bastantísimos, a lot, yes. And if you are like me that loves to go shopping, online shopping, si veo un advertisement de zapatos, pues se me va a olvidar el lesson plan. Y en vez de tardarme 15 minutos o 20 minutos buscando el main idea video, me voy a encontrar videos de zapatos, right? So what am I going to do now? I am going to ask Bing Chat to find a YouTube video to teach main idea to eighth grade, very specific, eighth grade English language learners. Okay, let's see what happens. Find a YouTube video to teach main idea to eighth grade English language learners. Let's see what happens. Okay, you ask what we want to add to the lesson. So it's similar to ChatGPT. Yes, yes, very similar to ChatGPT. Just remember that ChatGPT does not tell you where it got the info from, okay? Bing Chat will tell you where it got the information. So super, super, super important. So right now, I'm using now Chat Bing to do the searching for me. So right here, this is what Bing is suggesting. It is suggesting this video, and it's giving me a summary of the video. So that way I don't have to spend countless hours, right, looking for the video on YouTube. So it gives me the link, the straight link to the video. All I gotta do is click on it like I did. Once I'm here, remember, it's very important to watch the video como quiera. Por favor, part of us, the expertise as teachers. So I'm gonna click right here on share. I'm gonna copy the link. I'm gonna go back to my topic. I'm gonna click right here on YouTube. I'm gonna paste the link. I'm gonna click on search. Flip is gonna ask me, is that the video you're looking for, Fely? And I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna click on add, and the video is there. What is something that is not negotiable in my class? Remember to write your response before you record, right? And since I know that this question is very similar because of my TELPS knowledge, I know that this question is very similar to a 45-second question on the TELPS test, then I'm gonna change the time to 45 seconds. I click on post topic. And the topic is ready for my students. So this is how, my friends, I'm able to create, and I don't think it took us an hour, right? It didn't take us an hour. It is missing the reading story, but I can definitely I can go back to Bing Chat and ask it for a specific reading passage for 8th grade intermediate English learners, and the reading passage needs to be talking about main idea. And trust me, Bing Chat will give you the specific link that you need so that you can add it to your topic so that your students can practice their reading skills. So I'm gonna go back really quick to the presentation so that I can show you the approach, right? Why is this important, right? Because we are at time. We have 2 more minutes. So what is the reason why I decided to create all of this for my students, my friends? This is the approach that I've used in the classroom with my students and that I've been using with school districts here in Texas when we're talking about ELLs. So, and once again, it works with any population of kids that we service. So my approach is the following. It's all about relationships, right? That's the first thing that we do, that creative brain. So make sure you allow the creativity in your classroom, the creative brain, right? Your students, creator. We talk about creativity today during lunch, right? And this cerebrito, este cerebrito estuvo presente durante la presentación. Voy a combinar la creatividad con el amor que tengo por mis estudiantes para que el aprendizaje suceda. Muy importante hacer esto. Después vengo y voy a poder crear temas. Temas that I, as the teacher, incorporate my student expectations, and that I also offer opportunities for my students to practice all language domains in every subject. Every teacher in your campus is a language teacher. What support can I provide for my students? Visuals, like you said, graphic organizers, sentence stamps, anchor charts, repetition, artificial intelligence, use out in action, and the immersive reader. Oh my God, the immersive reader is amazing, and it is part of Flip as well. I let my students interact, right? So that they can practice the bigs and the calls, right? Lo social y lo académico. Monitoreo a mis estudiantes como parte de Flip. They're going to record the videos. So I'm going to have evidence of my students speaking, learning in my classroom, beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year. What are the results of all of this, my friends? We as teachers are going to be able to personalize the instruction based on our students' needs. That way we build and increase proficiency in language domains while we're making learning fun, memorable, and creative for our students. Thank you all so very much for your time. Thank you for being here as part of this presentation. Once again, my name is Fely, and anything I can help you with, you know where to find me. Somos vecinos, aquí vivo en el Valle y estoy para servirles.
La
Muchísimas
vamos a traer al
gracias.
distrito en persona ya porque es la mejor.
Sí, mi vida linda, ya los quiero ver y abrazar. Cualquier cosa, cualquier pregunta en lo que yo les pueda servir, estoy a sus órdenes. Agrego mi correo electrónico
Y se sabe.
rápidamente en el chat. Thank you so much. fgarcialopez@microsoft.com. Cualquier pregunta que tengan, estamos aquí. También nos podemos seguir en las redes sociales. Que tengan un excelente resto de su día y nos falta una sesión más. Así que mucho aprendizaje our way. Thank you so much. Thank you, Valentín. Thank you, thank you,
Gracias
thank
a
you.
todos. Les